Hello, this is Sizwe podcast. My name is Agnes, and today, as we are almost inching into the Father's Day celebration, I have two lovely gentlemen in our studios today, and I would just let them introduce themselves because I don't want to make mistakes. I really want them to give me their best. So on my left, I have father of one of the best group of boys playing music. If you have never heard of them, just check underneath this video. So I call him father of Sizwe boys, but he is Mark. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Agnes. Thanks for having us. So my name is Mark. I am the father of the Sizwe brothers, Mark, Seth, and Zachary. For the last, 7 years, I've had the opportunity of basically touring the world with them.
Wow.
As they have continued their musical journey. And it's I do many things, but for the last 7 years, that's what I've done. I've been able to travel and support them in their dreams.
Thank you. Welcome to our studios. And on my right, I have Dallas. Okay. You remember when we were about to file our tax? I hope you made some money. We brought Dallas into our studio to talk about what are some of the things that we need to put together. But just a lot more that he has to say about himself. Today he's here as a father. Who are you, Dallas?
Thank you very much, Madam Agnes. So my name is Dallas Gambo. I'm a father of very many young kids here in the city, my own kids and many other kids that we mentor in our programs. My spare time with the kids, riding bicycles around town, getting to meet their friends, getting to understand their growth patterns and some of the things that they aspire to be, and learning in the process as a father too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here in our studios. And guys, if you just joined us, this is Sizwe Podcast. My name is Agnes. You know, for many years, ever since I heard of Mother's Day, it is one of the things that we celebrate just as big as Christmas. But when it comes to Father's Day in June, we like, oh, is it Father's Day? It's not going to be Father's Day. So today, we don't want our community to feel that we have highlighted the Mother's Day so much, and then when we are in June, we don't have anything to say. And that is why we have taken the opportunity to bring these two gentlemen into our studios. I would want to ask them, what does Father's Day mean to you? And I'll go to Mark first.
Wow, it's a tough question. As you said, as fathers, sometimes, it's all about the Mother's Day.
Yes.
So thank you for having us here and just to share some of our thoughts. But for me, Father's Day is very important, especially as I mentioned before, I've had the opportunity to be there with my three sons, Mark, Seth, and Zachary, and to see them develop and to see them grow. And being there for them has helped me to appreciate my father even more. Fatherhood, it's not an easy job. It's a tough job because a lot of times you have to be the enforcer, the one that's doing a lot of things. But what I've learned through this journey with them is that although it's not an easy thing, it's something that's needed. Our young men need to be protected, and sometimes they don't want the protection.
Yes.
But what I've learned is sometimes it's not what you think you want, is what you need. And as a father, it's something that's very difficult for us to be there when sometimes you feel as if you're not wanted. But I've been able to live to see how it works, that it's your responsibility, and sometimes, although it might feel as if you're not wanted, you have to put yourself aside and still be there and fulfill your responsibility. Because if you don't as a father, then you're leaving them up to the world and to society to do your job. And sometimes they might not do the job to the best that you would want to see.
Very cool. Yeah, so if you don't raise them, the world will raise them for you, and you wouldn't like it.
You would not like it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've learned as a father, is that you have to be there even when you yourself sometimes feel as if you might not be wanted.
Yes,
or
yeah.
you might not be needed. That's the time that you have to put your foot down and be there for your
and
children.
if you are able to do all of this, then it is worth celebrating as a Father's Day.
Yes.
Very good. Dallas, what does Father's Day mean to you?
Well, Father's Day means a lot of things actually to us as parents, as the men in the families. And apparently, actually, my son was born on Father's Day many, many moons back.
Many moons back, yes.
And I think it gave me the awareness, and it got me thinking quite a lot as to what role am I going to be playing in this boy's life. Coming out of an African background where we come from, our fathers were not exactly as involved in our upbringing. They were there as enforcers, of course, in the background, but mostly our time was spent with mothers. But in this particular sphere that we find ourselves in here, you get to realize that you have to be there for the boys. Just as Mark mentioned here, maybe to reiterate on some of that, we can't be absent fathers in this particular space. We have to walk with them, enforce the rules here and there, and maybe even get to understand what gets them thinking the way they do, coming out of pressures that they endure in their upbringing.
Yes.
So it comes with a lot of excitement, a lot of pain, but apprehension is worth celebrating for sure.
Very good. Yeah. So guys, if you just joined us, this is Sizwe Podcast, and I have Mark and Dallas here as we are inching into our Father's Day celebration. We don't want it to be a minor. We have had a major one. I am a mother, so I'll just say that, but we want it to be as major as the Mother's Day. And I want to take them back. Dallas just touched on something. When you look back, both of you, all of us have fathers. How was your father like? And what piece of your father have impacted the father that you are today? And I'll go to Dallas because you mentioned that briefly about our fathers back home or back then being just an enforcers and not what we do this present days with our children.
Thank you, Madam Agnes. Actually, our fathers, as I remember my own father, they were community figures. If they played well in the community and they got to interact with everybody else at political level, maybe social levels, it seemed to be kind of enough. They were respected figures, and in certain instances, very, very unapproachable, which might not be something we aspire towards at this point in time as fathers, because we have to open ourselves up to our kids and allow them to come to us with their challenges, to come to us with their hopes and dreams, so we can help them to channel their strengths in the right direction. I think, Mark, you will agree with me too, that it's not an easy road, but it's one that we have to walk as the fathers.
So you have changed the narrative to say that what you didn't see in your father, you have perfected the good ones that you saw for your kids to be able to come to you when they kick their feet on the rock and they are bleeding. It is you they can run to. I could not run to my dad when I was a kid. So it is that unapproachable figure and the wall that they put is what you have been able to break down.
Certainly. Actually, we are utilizing the platforms that our fathers gave to us to try and hone out some new capabilities. As the environments have changed.
Yes.
So as the environments have evolved, we have had to evolve as well as fathers. Keeping those key cardinal aspects of fatherhood, of course, but at the same time understanding that what we endured, the environment we grew up in, is slightly different, or maybe even more different from what our kids are going through now.
Awesome. Mark, so what aspect of your father have you leveraged or have you learned from that has made you the good father to your boys that have traveled all over the world?
Well, just listening to Dallas there, I mean, a lot of us have a lot of similar stories about the fathers. Just, the tough, same thing. My father was, as I reflect now, he had a gritty determination, strong-tempered, strong-willed. And sometimes when you're growing through that, you don't appreciate it until
you
later.
grow and now you sit back. Yes.
And so my father was unwavering, unbending once he had a decision, and it's something that we did not always
We are not
agree
changing
on.
it.
But I can tell you that gritty determination has helped me in making some gritty decisions with the Sizwe brothers.
Awesome.
I've had to say no to some very, very influential, powerful people because I grew up seeing a man that when he made up his mind,
Awesome.
nothing would change his mind. And sometimes, I was just speaking with my sister this morning. I was just sharing with her the appreciation I have for my father because,
Wow.
you know, we all came up, but when we were enjoying it, it wasn't so appreciated.
No,
Well,
now
But
you look back.
and that's why sometimes we have to reflect. And
Very
the one
good.
thing that I've learned throughout this journey of life is that we must always be grateful.
Awesome.
You know,
Awesome.
we cannot judge. I think it was one gentleman. He said in their culture, when they wake up in the morning, they thank God for their parents, the life that their parents live. Then they thank God for the life that they have and what they're going to do in the future.
Awesome.
So what I learned is to remove the judgment from my parents, because if we judge them, it can be very harsh. You know,
Awesome.
and we also will be judged by
By our own
children
kids.
as well.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I think that helps me in terms of appreciating the good that they had, and hopefully my boys would be able to appreciate the good, because Dallas says, you know, sometimes as dad we have to make some decisions
Strong
that are
one.
not popular, you know.
No.
Yes,
And we hope that they don't judge us by that. They appreciate what we were able
You have been
to
able
give
to
to
do
them,
best.
and
Very,
then
very
they
true.
take it to the next level.
Awesome.
Of their life.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. If you just joined us, we are inching into the Father's Day, and I'm grateful to have in our midst Mark and Dallas. They have shared a lot about what they do as fathers, the challenges that they went through with their parents, and they don't look down on that. They don't judge it. It has become the tool that have made them the good fathers that they are. And especially when we are in this environment, and I'm bringing you back as immigrants here in Canada. Back home, we never took any of these celebrations as anything. For me, all I knew was Christmas and Easter. There was nothing so big about Father's Day or Mother's Day. But we are in this environment where there's so much celebration attached to everything. So if you are a father, and I have these questions for the two of you. When it comes to Father's Day, do you wait for your family to celebrate you, or do you create the platform where you can be celebrated and wait for this? Every time it is my birthday, a night before my birthday, I have already punched this thing in the blanket, waiting the next morning if nobody says, happy birthday. Or when it was Mother's Day, just this Mother's Day, I woke up early in the morning and I called everyone, because our time difference is back home, so they are 6 hours, and I called everyone, and then I was in the kitchen frying eggs, and my husband walked by, and I'm like, can't you say happy Mother's Day?
Yeah.
So I always wait for my kids and my family to celebrate me, and I think it's not the right thing. How do you do it? When it comes to Father's Day, do you create a platform, or do you wait with a punch, waiting that if your kids don't come and say happy Father's Day, you have issues with them? Mike?
Well, me personally, you know, I'm not one too big on celebrations, you know.
Oh, then I can't stay with you.
So I don't know about Dallas there, but you know, I am, you know, but the boys and my wife, you know, they always make sure that, you know,
Awesome.
they're pleasant, and they try to show me a good time on Father's Day.
That's
you know?
very good, yeah.
So that's kind of how it is.
Oh, that's good. So for you, the family remembers.
Yes.
Dallas, what about you?
Actually, same story with myself, because I think I'm a father every day.
Yes.
Celebrated almost every day, right? And then on some of these good occasions, the kids would remember to wake up in the morning and make the special breakfast. So actually, they are the ones who are very quick to say, we are going out. They love restaurants, right?
The live restaurant,
They're
yes.
the ones who are going to say, where are we going today? We're going to Montana's today.
Aw.
Those kind of things. But for the most part, I think it's up to them to choose. According with what Mark was saying there, I'm also not very big on celebrations. So they literally end up forcing me to
To
partake
do it,
in these
yes.
celebrations. Yeah.
Very good. So I know we are all Africans and immigrants. If I'm not mistaken, we were all not born here.
Yes.
So there are a lot of our community, our men out there who really don't care about these celebrations like you just said, but it has become part of us. And sometimes, sometimes if we don't take care, we will blame, like me telling my husband by the stove, can't you say Happy Mother's Day? So we will blame the children, the mothers, that they are not doing much because you said it is not part of us. So what do you tell the men out there if they want to be part of this community, the culture that we have ingrained ourselves in? What are some of the things that they will do to be able to pick up the Father's Day as much as we glorify the Mother's Day? What should men do? No, I need you to come out because you say you are not big. You say you are not big. Man, now let's find a way to make the Father's Day as big as we can enjoy, and the men at home will enjoy. Because if they see how we do the Mother's Day, and then when it comes to Father's Day and we are kind of playing it down, I don't think it sits well with them. So what do you think we should do, or you should do, as new immigrants who have come here to see that it is part of the celebrations that we do? What should we do to make it as big as the Mother's Day?
Nice question, but
Yes.
a very, very tough one, actually.
I want you to create a celebration. Yeah, let's find a way to make it as big, not just Mother's Day or Christmas.
Very true. Actually, I think I'll delve very quickly to some other programs that have been introduced to out here where the boys are celebrated as they become men and as they become fathers.
Awesome.
But these are new roles for the African, for
Yes,
us,
yeah.
for most of us. Just as we've had to adopt Halloween as a concept, I think fatherhood can also be elevated.
And
to
that
level.
you are saying that we should start celebrating the boys.
Yes,
Very good.
And then getting them to understand, as we celebrate with our boys here and there, and then they get to enjoy us as fathers, they'll also have an appreciation to reflect and say, you know, our fathers are very cardinal and important in our lives. So when Father's Day comes along, somebody remembers. And also maybe as a society, as a community, we also have to expedite events that celebrate this father element
Yes.
in the family. I've come across instances where fathers are not exactly available in certain families, and some people are not maybe there yet. They're not fathers at this point in time, but they can make use of those days to avail themselves to some other youths out there who might not have a father figure available in their families and stuff like that. But I think it's a community thing that we need
We need to pick it up.
pick
But Mark, I think for you, with your boys for 7 years, what have you done to leave that indelible mark in their brain that forever they will be celebrating you? What are some of the activities that you do that other fathers who are watching us can learn and emulate and apply and then make it big? And mean in the next 2 years, I will even say 10 years, Father's Day will be as big as we see other celebrations in our community.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you know, fatherhood is very challenging, and so is motherhood. But, you know, it doesn't matter what happens, you know, people always love their mother, right?
Yes,
You know?
yes.
And sometimes as father, we're not sure that's the case.
Yeah.
You know
We're
that
not
game,
sure.
that game where they put the child in the middle and they put the daddy and the dad ran here and the mom's ran here
Yeah.
and the kid is like,
Yes,
where should
you
I
know?
run to?
And runs to the mother.
They run to the mother.
You know, so I think a lot of times we're not sure, you know, to be honest, right? But as we keep having conversations about it, and you know, one thing that attracted myself and my boys to Sizwe is they had a Boys to Men
Boys to Men, yes.
program.
Yes,
And
yes.
we were very much attracted with that. I don't know if you remember, that's what attracted us
Yes,
to Sizwe,
yeah.
because that is great. And I think we need more stuff like that when we're actually, you know, the fathers that are trying could have an avenue where they could interact with others and so on, and so that we can start building that bond. But I think that bond wasn't really built because traditionally, you know, the fathers left home
Yes.
and stuff like that. But obviously, we're working on it as a community, and that's what I've done. I think the fact that you know, sometimes I said I'm hard on my boys, they know that I've always been there.
Very good.
yes.
Very
You know?
good. Yes.
And because of that, you know, I feel as they've matured, they've understand the importance of that.
Yes.
And if they have to celebrate, I think that's what would be celebrated, is that dad was always there.
That is always
to,
there. Yes.
To how tough it was.
Awesome.
Yes.
You want to add something, Dala?
No, I think I'm enjoying. I really enjoyed what you
Okay.
said there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Guys, if you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast, and we will be bringing the curtain to a close very soon. We are talking about Father's Day. There are so many times where Mother's Day has taken over the media and everywhere. And then in the next month, it's a Father's Day, and you hardly hear anything. We don't want that to happen in our community anymore. And that's why we have taken the trouble to bring these two gentlemen. They are father figures. They are not just fathers to their children, but they are mentoring other fathers. And if you are a father out there, you start it. I'm telling you, I'm going to say this. My parents never told me happy birthday. I never knew until I saw my birth certificate and I saw my date on it. So even if I know my parents' birthday, I have never called them to say happy birthday because they never celebrated that. So if you want to be celebrated, it is not just about waiting for somebody to come and celebrate you. Create activities like what Mark and Dallas have said with your boys. Involve them. Be a father figure to someone. And gradually you are creating that mark in their head that one day when I call them in a studio like this to ask them, what do you remember about your father? They will also have something beautiful to say. It doesn't always have to be good, but Mark said it is something that have built you. It has you have learned something good or bad from your father, and it has given you the father that you are today. We don't want Father's Day to be silent anymore, and you don't want that. We don't want that. Yes. So before we go, I will give the platform to Mark. He has so much to tell us about activities and about what he thinks will make Father's Day a memorable one in our community as immigrants. Because back home, we didn't even care. But here, the kids see it, and so we have to get involved.
Yeah. Well, as immigrants, I always say, when we left home, whether we're male or female, we left with a dream. And the dream was always centered around family.
Yes.
And sometimes when we come here, we kind of lose it, right? We think it's about the money, about
very good
the cars
so,
and so on.
If anything social comes to the bottom of the line.
What we really came for a better life. And when you say a better life, what is a better life?
Holistic.
It's really about your family, So even as immigrants, I think we have to remember that. Just always kind of put it, why are we here? Because life is so short, right? And before we know it, it's retirement age.
Yes,
and everything move on, So just think about it and spend that little bit of extra time, especially with the family and the kids. And, the rewards for that, in my experience, is far
Great
more.
Memories. Yeah,
far more than money can buy.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you very much. I think I like the way Mark is putting it together here, and then I also mentioned a few things maybe on the fact that I'm not good at basketball. I don't even know how to dunk the ball and stuff. But my son is so keen on basketball. I've learned to jump too.
Wow, with him.
I've learned
yes.
to jump with him, and I consider that an achievement for myself too. And because my father would never gone out to play soccer or anything like that
with you.
He just
yes.
didn't have the time for it, right? His position in life really didn't allow him to partake in
those social activities.
But it's a new world. It's new territories.
Very
just
good.
Got to learn
very good.
And celebrate it out there.
Very good. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Yeah,
and like we said, if you want to create memories, you start it. So I don't know how Mother's Day started, why it has built up to what we see today. We want the Father's Day to be as glorious as we are, because fathers are the pillars of our families. But we need to set the motion. It will snowball, and very soon our children will celebrate our fathers as much as they celebrate their mothers. We are looking forward to that day. But I want to say thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.